Mate, I know my mic's on. That's why I make those sounds for the fans. Sell those grunts, mate, to the porn industry. Pretty sexual. Hey. Hello, welcome, Star Citizen. In it, boy. Bra, 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 bra. Gone all London. Well, I say I've gone all London. I hope I haven't gone all London, because then I'd be all about knife crime, and I'm not. Not about that at all. Hello, and welcome to me doing a stream about Star Citizen. I've lots has happened recently. There's been many offers on my channel of sponsored videos. I think as soon as I hit 100,000 subscribers, that it was like a flag for lots of companies to go, we can get our games or hardware advertised by this dude, which isn't something I'm opposed to as long as I like the product or whatever. So there will be some sponsored and ad videos coming on my channel over the next, you know, forever, I suppose, but not too often. Maybe one every other week, one a week sort of thing. We'll see what happens. I've got a couple lined up already for some games, and there'll only be things that I either enjoy playing or, actually, as long as I can talk freely about them, I'll pretty much do anything, as long as it doesn't damage the sovereignty of the channel, as long as it's relevant to the channel in some way, like, should you play this game, or is it worth trying this out, or is this a good thing, or is this a crap thing? As long as I can say, this is shit, or, well, I'd probably try and focus on, this is for this type of person, if I did anything like that. But yeah, shilling. Go team. Still not shilling for Star Citizen though. Not paid by them, unfortunately, even though that is the core of my channel, Star Citizen content. If CIG, if you want to pay me, feel free. Please tell me, though, because, you know, then I'll have to put some sort of bit in a video saying that I get some form of payment. What I did receive, actually, from CIG, after paying for, was my concierge card. This turned up. This is one saying Hi Admiral. There's just another steel one. It's cool. And this little thing, which is the concierge booklet, which tells you how much money you shouldn't have spent on Star Citizen. But it is very well made. I don't know if the artwork's from Terra, and then inside, you know, the website that you've seen with all of the different concierge levels in. You can see like all the concierge rewards, all that sort of stuff. Not the best way of showing it on camera like this. It's pretty cool though. Oh no, I might put it in a frame because I am getting my room done up with as much cool Star Citizen stuff as I can. I'll be getting like the Star Citizen bed sheets, you know, that sort of stuff. Also, is this site live? Let me just see if this website's live before I out it. It's not live. So, there is a website coming live in a few days from JR Fabrications. They are the people, or this gentleman is the person that made the scale saber raven and the wardrobe and the tables for Gamescom and stuff like that. He makes cool Star Citizen props. I wonder what his website could be about. Huh. Let's see if he's got anything on his Facebook, actually. Well, he's advertising potential Star Citizen props. The first of many products that will be available on JR Fabrications launches Friday. So that will be this Friday, the 13th. Lucky for some. But there may be some cool things there. We'll look at them. Hopefully JR Design and Fabrication may send me some things. But check this out. His social media links and stuff are there. My Radar, they're our sponsor this month. It's either going to be an org or something to do with Star Citizen that will sponsor the channel every month. My Radar are giving away a reclaimer, but they basically make a weather app that also has the Moons of Crusader from Star Citizen in it as well, which is cool. And hopefully, in the future, we will be able to get My Radar, potentially, to crunch real weather data from Star Citizen in there rather than simulate it. So it's pretty cool. I'd love to see it use actual weather data to, you know, weather moons in Star Citizen in the game, and to show geographical data of important things in game. Yes, 20 minutes without sales speech. Yeah, sorry, I was going. It's mega shill. It's mega shilling. Sorry, I thought I'd get all the shilling out of the way early. BritainCon, that's shill BritainCon. This is a big Star Citizen fan fest that I helped start. It's going to be on the 21st of April this year, so in a couple of weeks. I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to have Brian Chambers, we're going to have Aaron Roberts, we're going to have special effect, we're going to have exhibitors, we're going to have panels, we're going to be drunk. It's going to be good. If you are around the Manchester airport area on the 21st of April, consider getting a ticket and coming down. It's going to be a long drive from the US, admittedly. Let's get rid of those. Shilling for my own website. BoredGamer website. If you've yet to see the BoredGamer website, it's like a website, but for pretty much Star Citizen stuff, and to shill for me. So it's just all Star Citizen and shilly muck BoredGamer stuff. Got all the new so yeah, okay. So today I'm going to be talking about 3.2. I want to talk a big portion of 3.2, features of 3.2, the feature survey, and a little bit about 3.1.1, and then answer any questions. If you want to ask a question about Star Citizen or to me or about whatever, question in brackets, I will try and answer your question. I might not just want to answer your question. I might go, fuck your question. But feel free to ask your question again if I haven't answered it after a good few minutes. Don't just immediately constantly spam them, because the auto mod will pick up that you're spamming, and it will potentially time you out or ban you. Yeah, I might have already answered your question as well when you went for a piss or something. So just bear that in mind. The monthly report came out as well. So the monthly report, let's bring this up. Monthly report came out. It was not that 3.1 centric, which was good. They did talk a bit about 3.1. They talked about all the stuff they did for it, but they also talked about 3.2 and some of the stuff moving forwards. But it's all stuff that we were relatively aware of on the roadmap. And if you've been watching ATV, then the latest ATV told you all of the Squadron, all of the Foundry 42 UK studio kind of update already. The only one that is really, really good, worth a read, really, here is the Foundry 42 Frankfurt one, which did talk a bit more about level design, going a little bit further into it, and AI and systems design, which is always pretty good to read. But they're making good progress on FPS ground combat for the AI, which was weird, because that wasn't that highly voted in the 3.2 survey. So for people that don't know, CIG are reprioritizing, and they'll probably doing this after every patch, what features are going to make it into certain patches, and pushing and polishing ones for the short term. So basically what they're saying is, guys, what do we need to focus on to make the gameplay experience better for you? So we had the vote on what features that we wanted priority-wise to be the most polished, and to definitely try and make it into 3.2. And there was a load of new additions to the 3.2 roadmap, and some stuff moved over potentially to 3.3. So the stuff that's potentially moved over to 3.3 at the moment on the roadmap is the scanning, is the salvage, repair, and refueling mechanics. So they look to have all been pushed to 3.3. Now, that's not entirely true, because in the 3.2 survey, they wanted to see what we wanted to prioritize for 3.2. So it looks like salvage and then repair, but not really refueling, was very much what people wanted. So salvage got 54% of the vote, and then repair 33%. So heavily weighted towards salvage. Hopefully we'll get some reasonable salvage mechanics in 3.2 because of that, and potentially even repair, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, the things that were voted the most were the, you can see what I actually voted for here. The item system 2.0 was heavily voted up, which is good, because that is core gameplay for combat and flight, and pretty much what Star Citizen stands for. This item system 2.0 systems and weapons. Very, very important. We had a little bit for FPS combat, but not as much as I thought. A good amount for the party system, and then got shopping experience, which is good, because the shopping experience is the only thing that is gating and preventing ships being sold in-game for Alpha UEC, as CIG have stated. And I will be pushing for ships to be in 3.2, because I wanted it in 3.0. I wanted it before then, and there seems to be excuses for why it's not being in. So I'm going to very much push for that, where reasonable. I mean, they might go, oh well, we can't do it because. They better fucking tell us pretty soon, because I'm now expecting it in 3.2. Which of these so the second highest priority ones, they voted on it again. So you voted for your top 3 priorities. Again, item system 2.0. More for the economy and shopping, starting to break away. Party system still, and FPS AI combat, but still not as much as I thought. And then third priority, a little bit more random, or at least spread across the board. But again, economy, item system 2.0, and FPS combat being the highest there, followed by the party system. So those are basically the 4 features that I think are going to get the most focus for 3.2, or at least I hope they do, because that's what that survey suggested it was going to do. Got a reasonable amount for quantum linking as well. They're all important features, and they're all going to be in Star Citizen at some point. It's just what they're going to focus and polish the most. They might, all of these features might 100% be in 3.2. Well, they might be in 3.2, but we don't know. But those are the ones they're going to focus and polish on the most. The ones that were upvoted. But I'd like to see how this gets implemented soon. Expect the roadmap within the next couple of weeks to reflect that a lot better. There was some other roadmap changes, like the Democo and the light machine gun and the Castec Arms sniper were all put in. And also all of those new systems that I just mentioned got put in into gameplay, like quantum linking and all that sort of jazz. Oh yeah, so actually I say that I mentioned. I probably didn't mention them all. So the features that they were talking about with 3.2 were quantum linking, which is jumping with your friends, jumping with a group, with basically someone in command saying, we're jumping here, and then everyone jumps with them. They all jump together. And also, if they get quantumly interdicted, they all get pulled out together, is the idea. They want improved interdiction, and that would allow players and other NPCs to also interdict. They want to improve service beacons with more missions, more functionality for service beacons. They want guilds and associations, which are more NPC run orgs, basically, which will give you. You might not be able to join all of them. You might have to meet requirements to join some, but they'll give you small benefits or other benefits and like cheaper services and stuff by being part of them. We all know we need a better party system. Hopefully they'll keep on improving that, whatever. And get in with that as well, team chat. They want a more better polished communication system. I, however, don't think it's worth polishing that overly much, because we're waiting for voice over IP. Voice over IP will trump most of this stuff. Although you do still want a good chat system and a good party system, you just, voice over IP is so important in a game like this. Economy and shopping UI experience. So this is literally the new shopping kiosks, which will allow the purchase of weapons, that will allow the purchase of potentially ships in-game, all with Alpha UEC, and larger than off-the-shelf items. Very, very, very important, surprisingly. Item System 2.0, probably the most important thing here for systems and weapons. Basically, that allows all the systems to communicate with each other, shields, power, weapons, so that they can then start to balance how multi-crew works better, how ships work better, the flight model and all that sort of stuff can then be worked on a little bit better, in my opinion, because they have all the functionality for the systems and the weapons and the ships that they need to work out how much power consumption should be, to work out a better flight model, to work out balance. Something that I'm surprised is not in yet. And then FPS AI combat. Now, I was surprised this wasn't upvoted more, because it is, you know, NPCs on the ground. That's NPCs defending ships. It's people shooting you. A much better PvE experience. And Star Citizen is a big mixture of PvE and PvP. But for a lot of people, it's going to be more PvE. And I just expected that to get more upvotes. But it's got a good amount still. Got a good amount. Didn't get, like, entirely downvoted. What else we got? Any major... So 3.1.1 went live, obviously. Some people are having good experiences with it. Some people are having bad experiences with it. I've got high frame rates. I'm in the background, you can see one of Zenthor's 4K videos that I'm using for my B-roll there in the background. Please check out his channel. He does great stuff. Mr. Hasgahar, Zenthor, Nirian, East Gaming, they're all content creators that I feel are not showcased enough. They do amazing stuff. East Gaming, more breakdowns of dev speak, but the rest are more arty and do 4K videos and do beautiful screenshots.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you very much, Alfred, for the cheer. Very much appreciated. I will update the all the cheer and everything will go into the fund for my 4K setup. I'm gonna later this month. I'm gonna actually sit down and buy it, whatever the donation goal's at, because I need it. I need 4K setup. I want to be able to record 4K at 60 frames for Star Citizen now, because we've got gameplay. Star Citizen is in a state where next week me and Zen and other people are going to sit down and start playing it and messing around and get some not so much let's plays, but I suppose like let's plays. There's going to be some proper content I want to start getting done with it. I'm also going to be looking, because I don't want to do how to farm Alpha UEC guides at the moment, because nothing fucking to buy with Alpha UEC. I might, however, do an accessibility kind of guide where I go, this is how you unlock these missions, this is how you get access to this mission, this is these are all the things that you can do in the verse. To do this more easily, you should do it like this and stuff like that. So I might show where things are, accessibility, stuff that you might not know as guides. But I'm always happy to take kind of suggestions for what content people want to see. Buy more ships. I read the chat, I'm just talking. At the moment, I'm talking. If you want to ask a question in brackets, I will go through the questions in a second. I'll go up and down the chat, and then we'll feel free to ask them again in a bit. I will read the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat and all the chats, so don't worry. Or worry, you can worry if you want. If people are having issues with 3.1, then please check out Proxys's known issues guide. However, I also have a performance guide, which I genuinely suggest that you read, because it will give you a much better experience in Star Citizen in 3.1. I need to go through all of the user.cfg guide stuff again. So I basically deleted all of the ones that didn't work, which was most of them, and just put in the couple that did work, but that was with the PTU build. So I need to go through the live build and see if any of them are now unlocked again. But that performance guide should give you a little bit of extra. What else we got? Anything on the newsletter? So this is the latest newsletter. You can find all the links to ATVs and RTVs and stuff for the last week. They gave us a studio update for the UK. The 3.1 ships are the ships and vehicles for 3.1 are on sale until... When are they on sale till? Until the 9th, so until Monday. If anyone wants any of them, You can get everything in game. We will be able to, and I'm hoping that 3.2 does genuinely have viable ships and vehicles. Oh, we got an odd sneak peek actually. So this was the Chemline low-tech UIs. I thought they were pretty cool. Very Grimhexy. Might not even be in Grimhex. They look very Grimhexy. They're just like kind of low-tech UIs. I quite like them for panels. I like that sort of style. Right. There's nothing else I majorly wanted to talk about. So 3.2 in general, I suppose. So 3.2, there was a lot of stuff crammed in 3.2, gameplay-wise. So they needed that feature survey to sort of like prioritize things in it. Now, there is a lot of extra gameplay they've added to 3.2, and I'm hoping that they don't take too much out. I'm hoping that we're getting mining, and we'll almost certainly be getting salvage as well now, because it was the most upvoted. I'm hoping that we potentially get repair as well, but I think that's less likely, repair and refueling. I think they're much more likely to be pushed into 3.3, although we could have some basic functionality in 3.2. We'll have to wait and see. But the economy polish that's coming in 3.2, some of those gameplay features are going to be pretty big. 3.3, however, which is September time, 3.2 is in June, 3.3 is in September. That is when we get object container streaming. That is when capital ships can start to be a thing. That's when planets can start to be a thing. That is big gains. And then 3.4 is when they start to do server meshing and the lots of players on a single shard server. I say lots, hundreds. So should be pretty exciting. Good stuff this year, assuming they get it done. Questions? If you've got a question in brackets. I'll probably remember some stuff that I wanted to talk about in a minute again. I thought we were supposed to get our current account UEC balance in game for 3.1. We were supposed to. I'm not sure why we haven't. I think they've set it to quite low at the moment. Yeah, but the idea is that I suspect a patch or a reset at some point with 3.1 that we're supposed to be getting our accounts UEC that we have on our website RSI account. Let me actually bring up mine. I'll actually show you rather than attempt to explain it by pointing a lot. Boop. Boop. Let's go on this account. Okay. So you get your accounts UEC, which is displayed in your account section of the RSI website. That will be your starting amount of alpha UEC every patch reset. Oh my god. But yeah, I thought we were supposed to be getting it in 3.1 as well. It was expected as well, because Turbulence said that as well. But for some reason it wasn't. I suspect we'll get that pretty soon though. Do we have any idea when the Mustang and Avenger reworks? What the Avenger and Mustang rework will include? Just making them more aligned with modern ships or other changes? We know that the Avenger's getting scaled up by 25 to 30% extra size. The Mustangs are being made to look better. And we don't know if there's going to be hardpoints changes other than that. Where do you think the trading system is headed? What do you think about the current problem with Widow? Okay, so trading's going to be different for every system in game. You're going to be able to trade directly with players. You're going to be able to trade with ports and NPCs. You're going to be able to take missions, which are effectively get this commodity and go here. So you in some of those missions with like service beacons or whatever, the more developed ones, they will be buy this commodity, go here, drop it off, and then you get paid, rather than just move my boxes of my commodity I already own from here to here. So you can do some quite clever stuff with that. So effectively trading without having to go through working out prices or whatever. So I don't know how player-to-player trading is going to work other than through the service beacon system, other than through contracts. Because that's the most sensible way of having it enforced. Other than that, you'll have to arrange it by talking to another player and have it not enforced, so they can rob you, or they can lie to you, or they can give you the wrong crates or whatever. I think a lot of the trading is going to be PvE orientated, where you'll sell your stuff to an outpost like we do now, and then other people will buy it from outposts because that would be simple. But there'll be loads of service beacons requesting resources in a similar way, almost certainly. Do you know what specifically CIG means by quantum travel functionality improvement in 3.2? That is a good question. What does it say on the roadmap? I don't know specifically what it means. I'll read it. Improve the overall quantum travel experience with upgrades to graphics, audio, and functionality. So, obviously, graphics and audio, make it look prettier and sound better. Functionality, that could be a lot of different things. That could be for quantum drives to be pushed over to the 2.0 item system, for them to be able to detect things, or about them to store data. It could be a lot of stuff. I don't know. Could be distance travelled. It will be able to store data, that it will know where certain things are. Could be a lot of stuff. Don't know. No, I do not know. Do they have a timeline for when ships will be available for batches in game? It was supposed to be for 3.0 a while ago, and then 3.1, and they need that shopping UI, which it has been voted on pretty highly in that 3.2 survey. So 3.2 is what I'm hoping for. Pushing for that. I think we should push for it as well. Do you know if they are planning on improving FPS, focusing on network capability soon, or just before the very end? Testing would be more enjoyable at 60 FPS. They are continuing to improve performance every patch now. They are kind of balancing, tempering it. Expect significant improvements with 3.3, and then again with 3.4. Totally agree, would be a lot more enjoyable at 60 FPS. I'm expecting higher than 60 FPS on a lot of systems by 3.4 at the end of the year, and I do think that Star Citizen will be in a playable state for players that are not that interested in the project currently. I think there's going to be a lot of sit-down gameplay there. What joystick recommended for Star Citizen going dual stick? Nooberfire loves his Warthogs, so maybe get a left-handed Warthog as well. I'm not. I occasionally use a HOTAS, but I'm very mouse and keyboard orientated. Yes, there are a good amount of new concept ships coming soon. The ones that we know about. I'm gonna be careful what I say, because I went on a studio tour. The one that we know about is the Drake Vulture, which is a small Drake salvage ship. They've talked about other ships as well. A while ago, they talked about a Starlifter, which would bridge the space to ground. They talked about a Kraken, which is a civilian or scout carrier. So it's some sort of large ship carrier. What else did they talk about that? They talked about not the Buccaneer, because that already exists in game. They talked about a Drake Explorer ship, and expect not all of these ships to now be Drake. Expect them to be taken over by other manufacturers if they do put them in the game. But there was a good few ships they talked about there that are probably going to go on concept sale at some point. There's going to be a load more ground vehicles. Their intention is to have a small, medium, and large pretty much for every role in the game. So small, medium, and large ship for mining, a small, medium, large ship for salvage. So expect that, and expect something, if necessary, for ground vehicles as well. So if you need a ground repair vehicle, which we probably do, that'll probably be in the game at some point. In 3.1, we were supposed to get the ability to salvage weapon that we previously bought in the Voyager Direct store. Yes, we're supposed to be able to melt with our Voyager Direct purchases in the past. That's not implemented yet. Expect, I will put a video up about it as soon as it is. So yeah, don't know when that's coming. We're supposed to be coming with 3.0 going live. Expect it within the next few weeks. Did you say in a previous video the Prospector mining but no scanning? Do you have info on the Prospector mining in 3.3? Prospector mining should be coming in 3.2. and they've merged all the previous stuff they've talked about into a single mega feature called mining on planetary bodies, and that should be a mixture of scanning minerals down, mining them out, and then selling them. It should be the entry-level gameplay into mining. You can find that on the roadmap. It was talked about on Spectrum recently as well. The game is very unlikely to come to console. Yeah, freelancers. The freelancers in 3.4. Yeah, so freelancer, all of the variants and that sort of stuff coming in 3.4. So December of this year. Ugh, I've just accidentally pulled down all the questions because I'm an idiot. Death of the Martian mentions. Death of the Spaceman mentions something about prosthetic limbs when dying. Should there be an option of deliberate prosthetic limbs, organs, improving character stats? They're likely to move away from improving character stats unless it's direct equipment. So potentially they could go down that route though. You might be able to get prosthetic limbs. You might be able to get bionic limbs. You might be able to have your damaged limbs repaired just by aesthetic limbs. We don't 100% know yet. They've sort of like talked about it a bit, but they haven't confirmed anything yet. Is the regular frame drops I'm experiencing 3.1 a common bug? I believe it's common. Some people are getting it, some people are not. Some people are getting the hitching. It's a lot to do with how much RAM you've got, because they're basically memory leaks. The game is super RAM hungry. Make sure it's on an SSD. Make sure you've got a page file set. As I said, look at my performance guide. That should help. If you're still having problems, feel free to message me. But there are some common problems. What happened to the R95 shotgun? It was in the PTU and seemed to work fine. Is it not actually in 3.1.1? I thought it was actually in 3.1.1. Yeah. As soon as we're able to melt our Voyager Direct purchases, I'll put it on Twitter, I'll put it in the Discord, and I'll make a video about it. I mean, Noob will make a video about it as it happens. He's been really pushing for that for a long time. What about my Aurora's cargo pod? Where is it? Is it going to be back soon? They're still accessible, aren't they? I haven't used the Aurora for quite some time. I assumed that the cargo pod was still accessible in 3.1, where you could put commodities into it. I don't use scrub ships. No, so sorry. In the future, there will be, and they've confirmed this, there will be modding tools for the game. And the assumption is still that they're going for private servers as well. That will most likely be after release, though. Realistically, for Star Citizen, we're looking at 2.5 years. Thank you very much, Stainless Steel Rat. Very much appreciated for the sub. 2.5 years for a beta for Star Citizen, most likely. With Squadron 42, we don't really know when it's coming out. Could be at the end of this year, could be the middle of next year. They keep on adding more and more persistence in the game. They did want to have bed logging and ungraceful disconnects relogging in 3.1. That is, however, not the case. We might see that in a mini patch. We might see the ability between now and 3.2. 3.2 is in June, to be able to log back into the game with a mini patch, because they were talking about that. So if you crash, is the idea. Oh no, you've crashed. You can log straight back in, and you'll be there with your ship. No, so I've got my concierge book and card through. I got it through like a couple of days ago. But I don't know when the next batch are coming. It will probably be in the newsletter from this week. Saber, Super Hornet, just the top tier fighters are still top tier fighters at the moment. The meta might change. I haven't messed around much with the new weapons. Nubifire's been doing a series of talking and looking at the new weapons, like the size 9 Omniskies, not size 9, Omnisky 9s, the size 3 ones. And apparently that's pretty sick DPS in the Saber. But it with the top tier stuff, actually even with the Gladius, you can be pretty competitive. Some ships are just significantly more competitive than each other in PvP and one-on-one. But you do get bonus points in Arena Commander for killing a ship that is significantly better than you. So bear that in mind. And you're worth less yourself if you're in like an Aurora. Yes, you should still be using page files in 3.1. Just make sure you set it correctly. Check my performance guide out. That should help. Is the Crucible a large or a medium ship? It's a medium ship. Crucible. Yeah, medium ship. Although that's an interesting question. I think that the only thing that makes the difference really, whether it being a large or medium ship or whatever, is the jump point sizes. I mean, the system sizes that it has on the ship is kind of semi-irrelevant, because you could have a smaller ship with a medium or a large component in it potentially. But it's going to be like the jump point sizes that you can use. And that's probably, I'm thinking about it now, going to be based literally on the size of your ship by the meter. It will say this jump point can take ships of 120 meters. That's what I'm thinking. But it's effectively a medium ship. Hi board, has there been any hints on location development past 3.4? Do you think we'll see Microtech and Orison next from 4.0 onwards? Okay, so 3.4 might be called 4.0 in the end. And we might see like Crusader landing zone in 3.4 if they get their gas tech done, because Crusader's sort of there already. It just doesn't have any structure to it because it's like something in the background. So yeah, Microtech, Orison, yeah, we could see that early next year. Almost certainly. We'll see like a March next year. Microtech's going to be the hardest one for them to do, because of the domed sort of like cities there. Hi board, has there been any, and that's what we just read. What do you think about the goal 3.2 manned turrets on vehicles? Player NPC functionality for manned turrets on vehicles. It's kind of essential, isn't it? We want multi-crew to be good in Star Citizen. We want that for ground vehicles, we want that for turrets. In the shorter term, that's what we kind of need. Obviously, the MFDs all working with Item System 2.0. I think that would work very well. I think they can get it working for 3.2. But they do need to work more on some of the vehicles already. Gravlevs have always been a bit of a fail since they put them in. So that's the floating bikes. You can sort of fly them, but they take effort to know how their quirks work. Not in a good way. Not a. Yeah, I'd love to be able to shoot in the back from the back of the gun on a cyclone or something. And they do need that. They're gonna have the tank and stuff, aren't they? But yeah, just better support for turrets. Making turrets being manned the best choice would be great. When our Rust/truck stops supposed to be in, it's not clear from the roadmap. I think that's supposed to be in 3.2. It's not clear, is it? Bear with me. They'll be in locations. It's in 3.3. Rest stop small. Let me show you. So that's September. Rest stop small. That might get into 3.2 potentially. If they're finished, they have been making a lot of work, a lot of leeway on them, haven't they? Lots of common elements as well being used there, and hopefully that will mean our hangars will persist in verse in some way. So we might all be able to just spawn at different rest stops, have all our ships there. That would be pretty cool. Have you seen anything about the implementation of transferring containers from prospectors to another ship? No, we know that Space to be able to jettison its containers once they're full, but I haven't actually seen that happen. I don't know how that's going to happen. Because if it drops them in, does it have to take them up into space, maybe? It should be able to drop them just on the ground. But then how would you get them into another ship? I don't know. It's a good question. They might not have that functionality straight away. Do you think mining and trading does make any sense without persistent currency? Where's the motivation? Totally agree with you. We need hooks to buy. We need. It doesn't need to necessarily be persistent. It just needs to not constantly be reset, and there needs to be something to buy with it. Happy to have Alpha UEC and my purchases reset every 3 months. That's fine in the short term. More things to work towards, but we need more stuff to buy. So we need ships, we need ship weapons, we need all that sort of jazz. Then there is motivation. And achieves. Give us achieves. Give us little badges and stuff that we can achieve by doing stuff in the persistent universe in Alpha. Like, if we hit certain Alpha UBC amounts, if we do certain things in game, give us achieves. I don't think we're going to see orbiting in 3.4 in the way that you want it, the way that you mean it there. So I think that will always be... It's an interesting one, because the planets are orbiting and rotating. So when you quantum travel, that's an odd thing, isn't it? You're quantum traveling to something that's moving. So do you curve your way there? Do you move with the waypoint that you've placed? Does the object container stream? Does the object container, does that just register, well, you're saying that you want to go here in this object container, so yeah, we just curve it round? Or does it do somewhere else? So I don't think we're going to see orbiting where you just go orbit by pressing a button or anything. I think you have to do that manually. So network bind culling, I suppose, will improve both FPS and server performance and reduce RAM usage, memory usage in general, because effectively it's steroided serial variable culling. So things will be turned off when they're too far away, so you don't need to receive any data on them at all. Even if sometime I'm angry to Star Citizen, I really like your channel. Fulgoro Geek, thank you very much for the donation, very much appreciated. Did Salvage get moved to 3.3? So in the roadmap it did, but if you look at the 3.2 survey, it looks like it's most certainly going to be put back in there. You can see Zenthor's desktop in the background. Thanks, Zenthor. Now you're at 100k on YouTube. Do you get any additional benefits? I think YouTube advertised a little bit. I get access to various like representatives from YouTube, I believe, so I can get help from them quicker. I get a little play button. I get a little tick by my name. I'm in their like lowest. I'm now in the big boy tier, the lowest of the big boy tier. So there are some probably hidden benefits as well. I think you can join some seminars and you get access to some other features in the future. No, do not buy me loads of pets. They sound inefficient. They probably cost money. Gold play buttons at 1 million, and then diamond play buttons at 10 million subs. So potentially, I may be able to get gold at some point. If someone owned an Endeavour, would they have any use for a Carrack, or are they too similar? I mean, the Carrack's high-tier military exploration. So you could potentially have a... Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, Endeavour's going to be heavy science. Oh, there's going to be a bit of exploration as well, isn't it? I don't think... Unless there was a lot of my friends that I wanted to play with, I don't think I would go for a Carrack and Endeavour. I'd go, if I really want to do exploration, I'd go for a Carrack. If I want to do science and a little bit of exploration, I'd go for the Endeavour. But it's the modules that make the Endeavour whatever it is, I suppose, as well. So, yeah, so an SSD really is a must. Yeah, I mean, I want FPS AI in 3.2. I think they're important, but I just want ships to be purchasable, other items and weapons to be purchasable. I think that's more important. Actually, but they're both really important. And the general the general item system 2.0 all working together in the ships. That's so important. When do you think we'll see decompression on ships? So they've got the room system now being set up. We see more and more of that. So I think they've got the ability for doors to now detect the different compositions behind each of them. Decompression actually in-game working is another bag of fish, isn't it? I don't know. It's not on the roadmap. Maybe middle of next year? Pulling out of my ass. But that's some of the deeper physics stuff. Want to see explosive decompressions, man. Why are orbital markers not close to major points on planetary bodies? For example, OM over Schumann or ArcCorp? Good question. I also... I want to show this off, actually. Of course, it's the top post on Reddit. Of course it is. So, share this. So this basically, this dude had an idea that you could section the parts of a planet off and then have a automatic OM drawn, an orbital marker drawn out of it by saying, well, I want to go here. So it's from that side of the planet. Well, I select the grid section I want to go to, and it draws the orbital marker, and then allows me to travel to it. That's a fucking great idea. This is a great idea. This man is a genius. So hopefully they may adopt this at some point. It's just a very highly voted post on Reddit at the moment, on the starters Reddit. But go vote, go upvote it. Let me link it, not just the picture. Let me link the post so give this man some love. Right now in the PU, if you die with your weapon out, you will lose it. Really sucks, losing my gold ones. Is this a bug or by design? It's a bug. That sort of stuff should stay or be reobtainable. Well, I mean, the intention is that you will lose items like that. However, you can have them insured and be able to get them back. So, I believe it's a bug at the moment because they want you to be able to test that stuff, and it doesn't matter if you lose it in the moment, really. Because we can't insure it. I'm in the mildly successful tier of YouTubers now. What do you think about the goal? Oh, we've talked about that. Yes, 100%. Yeah, so this is the... I'll just show it off quickly again. It's the concierge book. It's a little tiny book. Very well made. Got art from Terror and stuff in it. Aaron Huck, essentially. And it's just got loads of like concierge-y type artwork and stuff in it. But it's all stuff you've seen before. And then it's got all of the list of details on the concierge items that you can get. And then like at the back it's got telling you how to get Space Marshal, showing off all of the where is it? The different gold armor stuff, showing a little bit about the lightning. So it's all stuff that you'd seen before. Nothing like super amazing. It's just a nice, cool, physical thing to have. Might put it in a frame. Might get some other bits. Put it in a frame. The concierge card's pretty cool. It's got Space Marshal on my one. It's based on your backer level. It's pretty solid. Do you think that they would sell the F8 Lightning with LTI by the time it gets polished on 3D art and add some mechanics? Potentially, we could potentially see the civilian version go on sale, but I doubt it now. What do you say to Derek Smart and the Open House? They're entitled to their opinions. As long as they're not hurting anyone else, I think it's fine for people to have their opinions. It's all good. want to chat about stuff, just don't try and hurt anyone else. Don't be like overly be a dick. As long as you're not like actively aggressively lying either and stuff like that. Still fine to have your opinions as long as you're reasonable. Have you had any progress on being a gunner on the DF and Cyclone? No, other than they're working on it. That's one of the things that they are majorly working on, potentially for the 3.2. Do you think CIG will sort out the fact you can only really throw a box into a starter ship like an Aurora if you take one of those missions? Yeah, so really we want that cargo container that's in the Aurora and the Mustang to actually be able to put a box in rather than just commodities in, if you see what I mean. Not just for a console. You get concierge by accruing $1,000 worth of purchases. Doesn't have to be a single $1,000 purchase. Both of which are stupid amounts of money anyway, so. None of my links working. They work for me! I was getting that problem the other day where the links weren't working. Why aren't they working? They literally work for me. Huh. Yeah, so the Voyager direct refunds are supposed to be coming at some point. They were supposed to be coming with 3.1, so expect them in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll have like a calling all devs explaining where it is tonight or something. Otherwise, I will poke. I'll poke RSI and Turbulent about it later today, actually, because we obviously want those Voyager direct refunds if people want to melt their stuff. No worries. Thank you very much for joining me. I like the fact I can just sit down. I'm always tired when I do my streams recently. I'm so sorry. I've just been after I-62. I basically had land flu. I thought I had appendicitis. Turns out I'm just fat and unfit. I've basically got a cold again at the moment, and I'm just exhausted because I don't do anything other than sit down and play computer games, but for long periods of time. The Avenger will be and the Mustang in 3.2. 3.2, get the Avenger and the Mustang updates. So if you're of concierge status, so you spent $1,000 or more, it was on the website. You should have got an email, but you can go to the store. I think store and extras. If you can't see it, can't find it, they might have sold out. You could drop CS a message on concierge and say, "Are there any concierge booklets available?" They'll probably do another run of them as well. Oh, since they're already modelling the F8, do you think we'll see it in the PU when it's done, or will they wait till Squadron 42? They answered that, but I can't remember what they said. I think they said it won't be in the game until Squadron 42. I'm pretty sure. When do we think we'll get bounty hunting? Sort of have bounty hunting now. It's going to keep on getting more and more fleshed out. So expect a much more playable bounty hunting experience with 3.4. Also, coincidentally, with 3.4 is when another bounty hunter ship is released. The Hawk. I did actually forget what it was called, and I alluded to like, and you know what it's called, but then I remembered. I have not tried the ballistic shotgun yet. I have tried the SMG, though. I've been messing around with SMG and some of the other weapons. I was having a lot of fun with them. No new information about the Hull C. Nope. When did they announce mining for 3.0? Why did they announce mining for 3.0 in October? And didn't show some concept gameplay until now? It's because they wanted to work on the first iteration of mining for much earlier than they had. That's all it was. And some of these gameplay features in their first iterations don't actually take them huge amounts of time. It's just that they've got so much to do. Do you think we'll have to wait until the end of the year for the roadmap to show the plans for next year? No, we should, within the next few weeks, get 3.5 or 4.1 or 4.0 or whatever the first quarter's patch will roadmap will show. So the idea is it's going to be around 12 months, shown at a time. And apparently we're going to be getting Squadron 42 stuff on that at some point. Have they stated how much implementation they intend for planetary mining in 3.2 yet? Not really. If anything, they've made it more vague for 3.2. They've said mining on planetary bodies. It's supposed to be the scanning down of deposits, that then scanning that deposit to find out exactly what's there, then the mining into it, and then the potentially refining of it, and then the selling of it. That's probably the first iteration. The Freelancer Max is not available to fly. It will be flyable in 3.4, I believe, which will be December. Oh my god, yeah. FPS AI is going to make bounty hunting, boarding, missions, the moons, ground combat, everything just a billion times better. The PvE experience in game, so much better. What about the cargo box for the Aurora? Like, it works for commodities still, doesn't it? Obviously we need to open it up and be able to put boxes into it so that we can do missions that require that. Are there non-lethal...
Like
oh, beautiful.
Thanks, the prisoner. Thanks. I forgot I need to change that. Are non-lethal personal / FPS weapons planned? Yes. There was the advocacy tools, which were stun sticks and stuff that they did sell a while ago. But yeah, you're gonna have non-lethal takedown weapons for FPS as well, yes. Will the Avenger be a two-seater? No. Are we going to be able to use the Merlin on the Constellation? Yeah, at some point, they are working on various forms of docking, including actual ship-to-ship docking now. Now, the Parasite docking for the Merlin and the Constellation has been worked on for a long time, but I suspect they went, well, let's work on other priorities. I don't know when it's going to be functional. I have no idea. I thought it was going to be functional for 3.0, then 3.1, so... The Cyclone is incredibly fun. It's not perfect at the moment. Obviously, some of the moons have, like, they are lowish gravity, but the Cyclone is so much fun to drive around. No, so I don't believe the planetary surfaces are going to be altered by mining or by pretty much anything. They've talked about you might be able to change the soil on a planet to a different type. So like the top layers of stuff, and obviously build on areas with outposts and structures, but I don't think you're actually going to be able to change the geometry of a planet. How do you rate the Cutlass Red? Seems like a great ship. Don't know until the rework's happening, until it's done. Cutlass Black, though, I rate. It's one of my favourite ships at the moment. Do you think we can remove the medical stuff from the Cutlass Red, or would I need to get a Cutlass Black / Freelancer for cargo? You might be able to. Don't know. It was going to be super modular, and you were going to be able to remove it in the past, but I don't know anymore. Don't ever change that notification sound. I'll probably keep on forgetting, to be honest, mate. Any word on clicking quantum destinations in the HUD without opening the star map, not blind jump? I'm hoping that becomes a feature as well. No word on it at the moment. I'm hoping that when you accept missions or quick accept stuff, that you will just instantly pop up as a quantum location. Or maybe you can quick cycle. Something like that. Really nice and simple. Like, oh, it's already marked on my HUD. Boom. Done. Have they mentioned anything about the existing planets / moons, more inhabited? That's interesting. Currently there are a few points of interest, but 90% of them are empty topography. They're working a load on Lorville and Hurston at the moment, which will be populated and have animals, flora and fauna and stuff around. So they've talked a lot about that recently. The Trainer Avenger is two-seater. Is there a reason we won't have it? I mean, they might add it, Alfred, but I'm not expecting it to be added. Like, I think they moved away from that. When are they going to fix the fact that getting back inside your own ship through doors like the Cutlass Revenger is likely to damage you over time? over and over. I don't know. It needs to be sorted. There are issues with the room system. There are issues with doors. There are issues with the physics grids. Alpha, it's not an excuse. It's an explanation. Aquila versus Carrack. Carrack. 100% the Carrack. What was the other stuff they talked about? So, in the last week's Calling All Devs, they talked about blind jumps, but they confused me more than they explained. Because basically what they said was you'll be able to blind jump towards objects to explore, but I thought we were going to be scanning down objects. So I still think we're actually going to be scanning objects down, and then going, oh, there's an interesting signal here. We can then quantum travel to it based on what quantum drive and quantum fuel tank we have. Potentially, we might be able to just blind jump, but I think that's a whole can of worms that they might not want to open. So I still think it's going to be scan down, travel to. They also talked about scanning and scanning features, and it's sort of like, it's not really a mini game scanning. It's more closely tied to like the radars, and you're going to be able to detect IR, EM, and CS signatures, and you're going to be able to focus scanning pings straight forward or out in a big orb, boop, just to get some like basic information or whatever. They talked about docking, as I said, and you could be able to dock to stations, to other ships. So the Cutlass docking collar isn't coming back, but ships will be able to dock with each other. Like the Cutlass we originally had like a docking collar, so that it was more pirated. It could like force itself onto ships. Other than the Reclaimer, what ship is your fave, or are you looking forward to the most? There's quite a few. I mean, the Carrack's pretty high up on there. The Banning Merchantman's high up on there. The Idris, there's loads. There's loads. I'm just looking forward to the mechanics, I suppose. I mean, the 890 jump's pretty high. So I got an Obtain. It is like top tier awesome when it comes to load times and speeds, the Optane drive. However, it was incredibly expensive. And you can get like a Samsung 960 for half the price and 4 times the size. And they're pretty good as well. Like, you're losing a few seconds, like 3 or 4 seconds, but you're gaining so much more space, and you're not having to spend so much money on an Optane drive. Like, so it's up to you. If you want the best of the best, yeah, Optane's pretty awesome. There are some other cool technologies coming out pretty soon, and some other variants of that from different companies. But it's the price you pay for like 1st and 2nd gen tech, or 1st gen of this particular size and type, because they did like the smaller Optane drives that were sort of like cache drives and things. Any news on when the Orion will be flyable? No. I do not think it will come with the mining update. It's massive. It's too big. I'm impressed that they got the Reclaimer in, and the Reclaimer works. Can you explain the tech of the destructible environment now that CIG isn't using voxel? So certain items, certain props are going to be destructible. Certain like machinery and stuff will be destructible, but it's not going to be voxel, or you're not going to be able to rip a door open. Well, you might be able to rip a door open, and you will be able to blow open doors, most certainly, actually. But you're not going to be able to like pry open a bulkhead. You're not going to be able to rocket open a bulkhead of an outpost. You're more likely to shoot the panel generator on it. So think of each of the subsystems and systems being destructible. Think of props and cans and lights being destructible, but not the full voxel system. Knowing the way you love the Reliant core, fuck you, Urbanus. Are you looking forward to the other variants released? I'm actually looking forward to the Mako, which is the news van variant, because I want to see what sort of gameplay that allows us. Obviously, I'm going to be very interested in any gameplay that allows me to record stuff in game, that allows me to potentially make a living by being a YouTuber in game. That'd be fucking cool. I've been Intel scammed, yeah. No, it's top tier. It's just very expensive, that Optane drive. From my understanding, any ship can do exploration by changing their scanners. Is that still the long-term plan? Yes, sort of. I mean, you could explore an Aurora potentially. It might not be very suited to exploration because it's got small fuel tanks and small quantum drive and stuff like that. So some ships, most ships, have a focused role. And they can sidestep lightly into other roles, but they're never going to be as good as their focused role. So Carrack is going to be great exploration. The Hornet is going to be a good fighter. However, you can use it for exploration, and you can probably buy equipment so it's better at exploration than it would be normally, but it's still not going to be the best exploration ship. You think the Eclipse will kick ass more than the Gladiator or the Vanguard Harbinger? Okay, different types of bomber and what have you. The Eclipse is going to be cool, it's going to be stealthy, it's going to have those big torpedoes. They're going to wreck medium and large ships if they are used correctly. I also love the idea of the Vanguard, because the Vanguard is more of a fighter with a load of missile and DPS. So they're all a bit different. The Gladiator, for example, as well, has got more staying power. It's got a lot more sort of like armament that can keep on deploying, whereas the Eclipse has got 3 large torpedoes which need to rotate. So it will go fire 1, maybe get 2 off before it needs to come move around. We're not starting a Reliant Lovers Club. No. No. Do you think we are going to have PlanetSide 2-like battles in big, massive events, both incited by players and also by the devs themselves in the future? Yeah. I think we'll have massive fleet battles. I think we'll have massive fleet battles with NPCs, players, all that sort of stuff with ship boarding. I think we'll have large-scale battles on planets as well. Maybe not as large as PlanetSide 2, because the PlanetSide 2 battles can get a bit mad, with like everyone in the single sector, thousands of players based in the single sector. Object container streaming would allow that, potentially. They're not all in a single open space, all visible, which is unlikely to happen because of, you know, vehicles and ships. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we should see large combined arms battles. Obviously, space is easier for them to do in that situation. I'm going to BrisbaneCon on the 21st. CitizenCon, I'm not sure if I can get my visa. They haven't really talked that much about the Smart Tree stuff. Any news about memory leaks? Memory leaks are still happening for some people. It's a semi-common problem. My performance guide might help some people. They should be putting hot fixes and fixes in for it if they find them. Do you think they're going to make planet/moons more fun to fly on? Yeah, 100%. They're going to keep on working on the atmospheric flight model, the flight model in general, and planets and moons. So, yeah. They're also putting in procedural races as well. You're going to be able to have destruction derby, weapons-free races that are procedurally generated. Like, get from here to here to here at some point, which is going to be absolutely awesome. Scramble races, I think they're called. Do you think we've had all the wow hype choo-choo moments already? Can there be more things like voice over IP up their sleeves? I think a lot of the stuff that you'll see that are wow moments now are going to be tech that's implemented correctly, that they've already talked about. There might be some little surprises. Obviously, any presentation they do for CitizenCon will have some wow effect. They'll do something. And the same for the holiday live stream stuff. They'll want to show off their really polished gameplay. Like, they were like, oh, wow, that is cool. Oh, well, that's pretty awesome. But you're talking about any surprising things. Whereas I think they've got a few surprises up their sleeves, but nothing that's like a big new feature. VR is being kept in mind. It's not on the roadmap, though. I'm not expecting it soon either. I'm expecting it in Squadron 42, significantly before Star Citizen, personally. How much versatility will the Polaris have? Seriously considering the ship. Don't know until it's in the game, really. It's a torpedo missile, well, torpedo frigate, corvette, not frigate, torpedo corvette. It's going to be focused really around military application. It's going to be expensive to use because it's a big ship. It's going to have costs to it. You might be able to multi-roll it into some other stuff, but it is a military torpedo vessel. Yeah, it can have another ship on it. Yeah, you can probably use it for some other cool stuff. It'll be a very powerful ship to have. I just think it'll be quite expensive to run it as an explorer or as an escort. Although you'll probably be able to get some great escort missions. Like, yeah, we can escort you. Dangerous space, we've got a Polaris. There's something like a Hammerhead might be better for that. I mean, light ships, medium ships, and so light fighters, medium fighters, and heavy fighters all have different roles. I mean, light fighters are going to be like very agile. They're going to be hunting down missiles, bombers, disrupting medium and heavy fighters, or heavy fighters. Is the IFCS included? Is the IFCS included Dragonfly? If not,
half
when will
a year already. Cheers, bud.
Oh, thank you very much, Capital Matcha. Thank you very much. So that's a Gravlev system rather than IFCS, although it is sort of IFCS as well. It needs work. It needs work. I don't know how far they are down making them a lot more functional, because they need to be a lot more functionable. So the mineable asteroids and rocks are just procedurally generated, then they essentially will degrade as you mine them. They've talked about the chopping up of rocks, and then them being destroyed in some way and broken down. I don't think you're about to form the geometry of a planet. However, nodes might spawn out of the ground or in the ground or whatever. We don't 100% know. It could be rocks jutting out, or it could just be like, scan that down. That's where they are. But yeah, and I think they regenerate over time, or more will procedurally like spawn or whatever. Do you think we'll have some point in the future org warfare over territory and resources like in Eve? Yeah, 100. Well, say 100%, almost 100%. Pretty sure. For me, 3.1 was significantly better FPS wise than 3.0 was. It's a mixed bag for people. Some people are having much better frames, some people are having no change, some people are having worse. Do I think ground combat vehicles will be seen in Star Marine and Arena Commander? Yeah, I think there'll be modes in the future. So thinking a lot in the future that will use them. I want to capture the Idris and stuff like that. But I suspect there'll be combined arms ones. So if I could put anything into Star Citizen, it would be the ability to construct things, the ability to have industry, the ability to manufacture. So a factory ship, something like that would be pretty cool. I do think we will probably see a space station manufacturing ship as well in the future. But the Pioneer's kind of a factory ship, sort of, isn't it? I saw a streamer using the Pyroburst plasma scattergun on the Hornet. I think it was very OP. Is it going to be nerfed? Stuff's going to be balanced. We need item system 2.0. We need lots of other stuff really before they can get proper balance in. Otherwise, we're just going to see lots of different things that is just Monica. No, that is just OP because they've just put it in a patch and people are like, oh, well, this is broken because they can't balance stuff properly yet. Could you record all the panels at your BlizzCon for us that can't go? Yeah, I think Chris is already on that the organisers almost certainly will be recording all of those panels and it will go onto the BlizzCon YouTube. So you probably get that through the BlizzCon.uk website as well. So, but yes, I will double check. There's no real incentive at the moment for groups to control an area. In the future, it will be for mining rights to keep people out from mining there or for exploiting the resources there or whatever. Do you think BoredGamer will come out of the closet when Squadron 42 is released? No, I'm going to stay within the closet firmly and deeply. What do you recommend as minimal spec to play Star Citizen 3.1.1 with no crashes? There is no minimal spec that will get you no crashes. I haven't crashed much. I get server crashes occasionally. The best spec you can get, I'm sorry, it's a bit of a cop-out. Wait until the next generation of GPUs come out. Grab something then. I run a 8700K i7 processor, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and a 1080 Ti. So I've got a pretty sexy rig. I don't think we'll see large reclaimer hangers for Levski, no. Oh, space Uber ship. Yeah, we'll see space taxis. We'll see space taxis. Or ships being used as space taxis. I get relatively good frames per second in game, even if I'm running at 1440p or 4K. It's going to be interesting to see how the transportation works from area to area. Like, we are going to have civilian transport, we are going to have monorails, we're potentially going to have other civilian transport taking us from one area to another as well. SSDs are incredibly important for Star Citizen at the moment. Severely unoptimized the game. Even though it's had a big optimization pass, it's still really unoptimized compared to a proper released game. Because it's not released, it's an alpha. Again, an explanation, not an excuse. I know there is no official info, but do you think the Cyclone would fit into the Freelancer Max? Yeah, probably actually. Knowing that it almost gets into the Freelancer. So yeah, probably. Alfred, we are setting up a NS2 server, and I'm looking at doing Rust servers as well, but probably for next month. So NS2, and we'll do a couple of other community games this month, and then next month we'll probably do Rust. That's the current plan. I know there's no official info, but since we know the Cutlass is safely take 2 bikes, can safely take 2 bikes, how many bikes do you think the Freelancer Max can take? Don't know. At least 2, probably. Just come out, Bored. Wow. I don't think announcing that I'm gay on stream would help anyone, especially seeing I'm not gay. I don't think that's helping anyone. Any idea if we're looking into disabling shields for Atmo flight and re-entry? Is it, as it is now, all ships are equal since Atmo can't penetrate shields, which makes things like wings useless? Oh, I see what you mean. You're like a flying egg. Okay. They're going to keep on rebalancing and iterating on atmospheric flight. We want to see gravity affected stuff. We want to see wind and the shape of the ship and all that sort of stuff really, really make a difference. I would like to see shields not work in atmosphere, actually. I think that's a good idea. But doesn't make. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but. Yes, so we're actually going to be playing some Star Citizen next week, properly, with Zen and people. That's the plan. When Star Citizen is more playable, like we can sit down and have a party system and people don't all crash out, I will sit down and I will play it with people and we will have fun. When are we going to get attachments for weapons? Not on the schedule, but they've been working on them for a long time. So we could potentially get them for 3.2. But more likely, like, that sort of stuff might be pushed to 3.3 if it was going to be in 3.2 already. I don't know. Continuation of question. The factory ship have different modules to produce different goods. Labs for meds and drugs, weapons manufacturing, or general metal and... Yeah, so I'd love to see lots of different manufacturing construction. That would be amazing. I want to run a reconnaissance-focused PMC. Is there a flagship you would recommend? Right now, there's the 600i Explorer. Flagship? Potentially the Carrack. Reconnaissance-focused PMC. Carrack. Or the Idris P. When do you think they will fix the ground play on bikes like the Nox and Dragonfly? They need to fix the Gravlev system. I know they're iterating on it. I don't know when. So, yeah, the Cyclone can fit into a normal freelancer now, but not properly. it's really hard to then get out of the car and actually not be stuck against a wall or move around or whatever. So it doesn't really fit. Well, it fits, but you can't really do anything. You can't even move out of the car at the time. Recently got the Cutlass Black. The only thing I dislike is the field of view being obstructed by large scanners. Is this a bug or a design flaw? Probably design flaw at the moment. They will revise probably some of those views by making them a little bit taller. That's what I'm hoping on a lot of ships. I've not tried to fit an Arco in a Connie. I don't think it will fit. Lego as a question mark. Potentially. You think CIG would make Star Citizen gaming computer built for Alpha 4 and beyond, or will they release it when it hits beta? No, I don't think they'll. They might work with the company to sell PCs potentially in the future. I don't think it's worth building a PC for Star Citizen now. If you're playing other games and stuff, upgrade as you would normally. Star Citizen is going to be a different beast in a couple of years, and then it's going to be optimized around then. So, what profession do you think needs the most love ship-wise? Science at the moment. We've got no. Well, I suppose we've got the concept ships. Don't really know what you meant by the question. Manufacturing. The Octane is amazing. It is top tier. It's just very expensive. Are they going to get rid of the re-entry effect when leaving an atmosphere? Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, probably. They'll tweak that stuff. Does anyone know if we're able to name our ships and have that name appear on the hull of said ship? Okay, so we're going to be able to paint our ships in the future. They are working on some forms of decal, so I'm assuming letters might be in those decals. So potentially in the future. If shields don't work in Atmo, why don't ships burn up? They do work in Atmo at the moment. That's the thing. But there needs to, so for me, there needs to be a way of removing shields in Atmo, or making atmospheric flight at least very dangerous for a ship, so that ground turrets, ground defences, vehicles on the ground and stuff are threatening to ships. Otherwise, ships just rule the world. Oh, Spartan. So you can get a cheap SSD and it will suit your needs. There is cheap and there's shit. You can get a cheap one that's not shit. High-end ones, you can get high-end ones that are relatively cheap. So you need to look around. Like, as I said, the Samsung 960s, pretty good. I think I have a 951 and a 960 at the moment. 951, very, very reasonable when I got it. My Javelin has not arrived yet. It's not in-game yet. And as it is in-game, we will look around it. If I can invite people in, I will immediately just allow everyone into it. And go, knock yourselves out. Yeah, the new Samsung SSDs should be out soon. They are looking pretty cool. Is it Kingston? Yeah. Oh, I'm not a fan of rate zeroing. That sort of stuff. So the observatory module will probably detect stuff at extreme ranges that might not even be travelable to, potentially. So you might go, there's a black hole over there, or there's an interesting nebula over there. That might allow your mini game for you to make money and for you to get some other stuff. But it might also be used as an incredibly long-range scanner. It might be part of missions as well that you need that sort of observatory. Do you know if the occasional interdiction by asteroid is intended or a bug? The idea is that if something gets in the way of you, it will also pull you out of quantum. So it may be intentional. ETA for personal drones is 3.3. For proper remote control drones, don't know. Potentially 3.3. I remember them saying that we would get some more news on the FOIP camera at CitizenCon, unless I missed it. In addition, face over IP festive duration is slated for 2.3. No, 2.3, what? So first iteration of face and voiceover IP is for 3.3, which is September at the moment. We were supposed to be able to see the face over IP cameras that Faceware were doing. They were supposed to be pre-ordering them on January on their website, but they didn't. So I'm not sure what's happened there. Maybe they're waiting for them to be more developed or them to be confirmed to going into a patch or whatever. Is the second seat in the Super Hornet worth the slight size increase? I mean, I think potentially, yeah. The Super Hornet is a solid fighter as well. So grav boots have been replaced by your EVA suit. Basically, will expend fuel to jetpack you down to simulate gravity. So you go, I want to stick to whatever surface, whether it's metallic or not, and you can go, you get close enough to a surface, and it will sort of like push you into it, and then you'll be walking on it, whatever angle you want. But it will be expending your EVA suit's fuel. Isn't it kind of unfair that salvage would be implemented before refueling, since Starfarer owners have their ship for a while now? It's not about being fair or unfair. It's about what people want in the short term by vote. That's the fairest way that they know how to do it. I totally understand what you mean, though. You definitely have a point of view, but I wouldn't know how to be fair or reasonable when there's only a certain amount of resources they can put into stuff. You'll still get it. As Arena Commander is a testbed for the persistent universe, that's not entirely true anymore, because the PU is a testbed for the PU now. Why not utilize rec earned, even temporary and single player, to buy refills for ammo? They wanted to separate them. They're not going to try and bring them back together now. Buying stuff in the persistent universe, however, will then unlock it in the Arena Commander and Star Marine. That's the intention, though. And it's gone the other way, hasn't it? 8 gigs of RAM is not really good enough to run Star Citizen, no. Yep, face over IP is on 3.3 at the moment. Aaron Roberts, not Aaron Roberts, but yeah, on your answers from Aaron Roberts' interview, you mentioned the idea of allowing people to make mods for Star Citizen. Have you any ideas what that could entail? So it's going to be using basically ergonomic lumberyard tools, I suspect. You could be able to make potentially any mods you wanted. You could have Battlestar Galactica mod. You could have a PUBG type mod on a single planet, or you could have a whole universe in Star Wars or whatever. There's literally infinite possibilities. It's based on how powerful the tools they've got. They can give the community pretty much, and that should be pretty powerful. They're using them for the developers. They'll obviously need to make them more ergonomic for random people to use. But are you excited about mining? Yeah. I'll be more excited once we have things that we can use to buy stuff. So when we can buy ships, when we can buy cool items, when there's reasons to make money, then I'll be excited about the mechanics in game, whatever the fuck they are. But mining, yeah, does mining and salvage does kind of excite me a bit, admittedly. Do you think getting rid of strafing would improve dogfighting? No, I mean, you do want some form of strafing. You want lots and lots of combat techniques, and them for all sort of like to be able to be stapled together to have lots of different types of play and ways you deal with stuff. Like you 100% want the Xi'an ships, the Katu'al, to be able to strafe properly and in a very good way. But you don't want that just sliding circle strafing, and that's all that combat is. You don't want that. The display info 3 shows video card and desktop RAM. I think it shows them separately. Right. Any other questions? Thank you for so many people joining me today. Very much appreciated. Thank you for all the donations and the subscriptions and the cheer and the love. It's very much appreciated. And the subs. Yeah, geez. Thank you. I'm sorry for all the... I'm sorry if I've been like super tired recently, and I'm sorry if I've been a bit lazy recently. But as I said, lots going on. And the monthly report actually shattered me reading through all of that. But later on this week, what we'll do is we'll do a video on 3.2 features, and we'll talk about that and the feature survey. We'll probably do an update on the Crytek versus Star Citizen case, because it got a little bit interesting because Crytek seemed very unreasonable, in my opinion, with a lot of their stuff, but it's hopefully a lot of that stuff will get smooshed in the motion to dismiss, but we'll see that soon. But it's worth an update. Don't forget to like that smash button. Thank you, Shenanigans. Appreciate it. When do you think the passenger missions will come online? I want the Genesis Starliner in game. It's one of Zen's favourite ships. It is Zen's favourite ship. And I think it's going to be really cool to see people being transported by the Genesis. I don't know when passenger missions are going to come online. After FPS AI comes online, probably early next year. Do you think we'll probably see weather this year? Avenger update 3.2 in June. Question. I don't know if concierge subscriptions count towards concierge. I expect they don't. Price of the Eclipse and the 3.2 launch. Need to save my nuts. I don't know, Mr. Coffee. You can probably just look how much they were originally. That's the sort of stuff I would try and get in game though. But it's up to you. I've already talked about the man turrets and 3.2. Yes, they count. Thank you very much, Lucky Gaming. They do count, apparently. Thank you. Appreciate it. I did not know that. When will we see the first alien fauna on Hurston? When it's released? Yes. Almost. Well, I can't confirm that because I don't know. But almost certainly, yes. Will powered armors be similar to Spartan's Halo armor? We've kind of got them already at the moment, that sort of powered armor. It looks powered. I suspect that EMP grenades will affect a load of the systems on them. If you're talking about the Titan suits that are coming at some point, I don't know really how much of it's electrical and how much of it is mechanical and what will be affected by what. Opinion question. What kind of weather do you think we'll have this year? Snowstorms, dust storms, rain. Probably be harder than snow, actually. Probably get rain as well. Wind. Lots of wind. Very windy. Just that sort of stuff. Just very basic. Cloudy. Sunny. I would like some toast. Titanfall suits. No. Love you, Huntress. Huntress, one of my amazing mods. Love your face, Huntress. Right. Let us see who else is streaming. Someone else must be streaming Star Citizen, eh? Yeah, I think we'll see ballistic riot shields. I think we'll see riot shields, not just ballistic ones, but riot shields. I think we'll see lots of gear for storming ships, defending ships. They are going to have gadgets, so we've seen like this shield they deployed and stuff like that, and it's going to be hologrammy type ones. We're waiting for gadgets. I was hoping we're going to get gadgets this year, but we'll have to wait and see. What are the main things that are still in development from the old item system over to the new item system? Not that much, actually, I don't think. Pretty much everything's been converted over other than some systems and some weapons. Once that's there, then they hook them all up together. So not much needs to actually come over. So, yeah, there have been some mods for Star Citizen previously. So they did, like, before Pirate Swarm, someone had made a Pirate Swarm mod for it. There's not much, though, because a lot of it's locked out now. When do you think we'll see the work on the Carrack again? Will it be this year? Yeah, they'll almost certainly work on the Carrack this year, and we'll probably see it updated in a ship shape in the near future. Right. Let us remember to check out Zenthor's channel. Zenthor providing some amazing, sexy footage, and he's a great content creator. In fact, Zenthor. No. Close. Give Zenthor some love. But yes, thank you very much. Let's go see who is streaming. Detox! We're going to give Detox some love. So thank you very much for watching me, guys. Very much appreciated. Love your faces. Bam. I'm going to go have some food. And then I'm going to stream some stuff. Potentially Star Citizen, but more likely Killing Floor 2. Or something like that. On one of the BoredGamer streams. Or PUBG or whatever. Love you guys. You're the best. Kisses. How do I do this? Slash raid. Detox TV. Sorry, Flymo. I don't normally click on the keyboard, and I've moved the microphone so it's in a clicky place. I apologise. Should I upgrade my CPU and dual core to quad? If you've got enough. Oh, that's a hard thing. You don't really. If you have to make those kind of concessions, you don't really have enough computer at the moment. You can make a. I've got a guide on doing a $300 PC. Check that out, actually. That's on the website. But I fucking love your faces, guys. Talk to you soon. Hugs. Peace out.